Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for the PAGEV people to give us the chance to present ourselves here on the market. We are just one of the newcomers in the business inside, but I've heard so many things today about recycling, sealability, barrier of products, and so on. So I'm very glad that I'm in the recycling machine business inside. I think we have a bright future in front of us. So let's put this further. Let's talk first of all. I have three topics which I would like to touch with. The first one is basically about the company, ARIMA, and the ARIMA Group inside. There's something new which I would like to share with you. Secondly, I would like to talk about in-house recycling, the challenges, the futures for this, what's going to come up for us as a challenge on that. And last but not least, I will touch very slightly about the technology which we're offering to fulfill the task for the future. Basically, I'm sorry to say one thing back. I'm very sorry. I was flying yesterday in the evening to Istanbul, and I think I will take some clouds with me, because when I was leaving it was raining, and when I was arriving it was raining as well. So hopefully when I'm traveling back tomorrow, I will take the rain with me again. A little bit about the ARIMA Group itself. ARIMA in generally, I would say, is the largest producer and the oldest producer of modern plastic recycling machines. And we're considering basically of three sister companies. One is the ARIMA. Second one is 3S, is basically a manufacturing place where we're doing our own mechanical manufacturing of the components, of the key components from our products. And we are the youngest ones, nearly 10 months old. And we are basically having a new technology in our hands, especially designed for in-house reprocessing. ARIMA is very well known for the densifier or preconditioning unit in combination with an extruder. The company Pureloop is new with a shredder extruder combination, which is giving more flexibility. I would call it, let's say, it's much more operator friendly. So I think it's either, and this we can talk a little bit later, and 3S is basically our core components are manufactured there as well. All right, location-wise, we are a global player. We have basically a facility in the United States. Soon also from Pureloop we have a facility in the United States until the end of the year. We have a facility in Asia. We're starting a facility in Russia. So we're spreading more and more outside to the market. Give you a little bit an idea about the group itself, facts and figures about it. We're making a turnover of some around 130 million euro, which was increasing by about 20% last year, which is basically half of the turnover from the second biggest player on it. So we're really, let's say, the massive global player in this area. We're doing close to about 500 people working for us worldwide. And we're supplying some around 280 machines a year to the market for basically three different markets. It's the industrial, the post-industrial, and the post-consumer market. We have some around 4,400 machines worldwide in operation. And I was making just a quick calculation about this as well. So we're doing at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, we're doing approximately some around 2.5 million kilograms per hour recycling every single hour on our machine, which is giving basically a business, I would call it, let's say, some around 7 to 10 billion euro is coming out of our machines every year. So basically what we are considering ourselves is as a raw material producer or reformer of this as well. So it's basically, some of the people say we're at something differently, but anyhow, in-house recycling. What should I say? Actually, we are the necessary evil, because nobody wants to produce in the flexible packaging industry or waste. We're just, sometimes you change transition roles, change of the recipes, whatever you have there in it. So you're making some scrap. First of all, I don't want to call it scrap. I would like to call it a product which you cannot sell. It's a product which you just have to reform to make it reusable there inside. In the in-house recycling, we can compare two different things about it. Number one is the inline, which is, let's say, more the challenging part about it, because you've got various different processes there inside. I would call it fluff-free feeding. a technology which is relatively old, creating a lot of dusts. And in the modern packaging industry, the worst thing what you can have in the production is dust there inside. Melt refeeding, extremely challenging, but the trend is going to go into the pellet refeeding there inside. Offline recycling is basically things which you cannot unwind or which you cannot refeed directly into the process inside. We close the loop. So why I was saying it, first of all, I'm not trying to use waste or recycling. Recycling have always the touch about it's going to get dirty, it has been already in use, it comes from a washing machine, whatsoever. I call it simple, it's a reject product. So a product which you cannot sell to the market because it doesn't fulfill your specifications and the customer will accept that. So that's the reason why I was calling it then a reject product. And afterwards, our job is basically reprocessing and repelletizing of it. So we just giving the material a different form into the product inside. And then you can do the refeeding and doing the remanufacturing out of it. So of course, if I would compare it right now, reprocessing a ton of polymer costs somewhere around 10% compared with the virgin material. And that's a very interesting part, because your product is mainly about 70 to 80% depends on the raw material prices there as well. So the more I can put the re-pelletizing material inside, the better it's going to be on the market. Typically, we have a much better return of investment calculation in any production equipment, but who cares about it, because we're just the re-pelletizing people. We have here 3 different streams which I would like to talk about it. You know, we have typically, let's say, we have an upcycling, which you know already about it. It's basically PET bottles, where the people are giving, let's say, in the PET bottle another life cycle there inside. And our job is in our company to increase the value of the product. So it's an upcycling, so you can use it or increase the value of the product there inside as well. Secondly, what we're doing in this business there inside is doing inline compounding, so that we can really increase the performance of the polymer during the recycling process already as well. Horizontal recycling or repelletizing in this case there's inside is really where you're trying to keep the same quality of the product and close the loop constantly, so you're not losing anything in your process there inside. Unfortunately, we're working also in the downcycling business there inside. As soon as you're putting printing on it, as soon as you have barrier layers inside, as soon as you have whatever metallocene on it and things like this, they are really forcing you to take this raw material and have it, let's say, to a lower grade process and put it back there inside. So from our concern is basically is relatively simple in the challenges. First of all, we have to achieve the highest possible raw material quality. Number 2, no creation of defects in the polymer inside, and actually which is leading us to, we call it inline modifications. Sounds a little bit weird, but what we are trying to achieve, and that's basically this is what the next processes or the steps are from our R&D people on it, is basically is we're increasing during the recycling the amount of antioxidants back in the process. Especially when somebody's in the LLDP business or in the stretch film business there inside, you know, when you have, let's say, a certain heat history on the raw material, the amount of antioxidants is decreasing, and when you're putting another heat history on it, the amount of defects is increasing. So what we're trying to do is basically not by just adding master batch to the process, which doesn't do the job really. We would like to do something differently and increase during the recycling process actively the amount of antioxidants level there inside, so you have basically a better product coming from the recycling machine out of it and gives you a higher percentage to feed it back into the process. Second one, increase of compatibility, sorry, it's a difficult word, to make it compatible. Polymers and avoiding defects there inside. Barriers. I was working for about 10 years in a company in Germany, which is the company Dr. Collin, makes pilot and laboratory equipment. And one of my biggest customers was actually the US Army. And everybody's scratching their head. What is the US Army doing with plastics? US Army is one of the biggest R&D areas for food packaging. The Army has a program which is called MREs, Meals Ready to Eat Packaging, which is very famous because it tastes also a little bit bad, I have to say. I've tried it. But they're trying to get a shelf lifetime of their products up to about 2 years period of time without metallizing. The reason for this is really very simple, because when you have in a kind of a war zone inside and you're dropping from an air carrier or whatever, some food down there and you have metallized it, the radar will detect it and you have a sniper just waiting for somebody to pick it up and you shoot him. So the Army spends millions really in this area inside, and we have developed together with them 50-layer blown film, 60-layer, 100-layer cast film people out of it, just to find out if you have an increase of the barrier as well. The nano-layer structures, what the people are talking about. In general, there's a big possibility still in the future to make it even better. But it's a bigger challenge for us. We get more complicated structures there inside. We have EVOHs, we have nylons, we have metallosands, we have tile layers, we have glues, we have whatever in it. And at the end of it, we have to make a pellet out of it. We can make a pellet, that's not a problem. But we're trying to make a pellet which can be reused back into the process inside. So we have to work with the chemistry people, like with the people which you have been today here, the DuPonts, the ExxonMobils, the Mitsuis, the whatever, the Clariants, the BASF, the whatever out of it. They are making, let's say, the small little additives there inside in order to really create something, in order to connect the different polymers back inside, make it stable, make it homogeneous, and we are able to refeed it back more or less horizontally to the same stream inside. The biggest challenge, and that's actually, let's say, is the next step which we're trying to do at the moment, and this is what we're doing already as we talk here, is about the reduction of smell, odor, color. When you have a printed product, perfect transparent film, you just put a printing on it, it has no value anymore from the scrap point of view or for the reject point of view on this. So the target is basically, first of all, when you're doing a reprocessing of the material, you get a certain odor. If you put it back into the process inside, your bubble starts to smell. So I think within the next 1.5 years, we will be able to offer systems onto the market which allowing us that you won't have any odor whatsoever after even printed products on it. Second part, there in the process we see the possibility that we can even remove or reduce, I would call it better, reduce the amount of colors into the polymer. Because a printing has pigments on it. When you have pigments on it, the pigments are either organical or inorganical, but it's very hard to remove it. So with a super fine filtration, there would be a possibility even to remove some of the inks out of it. And we have made already some studies on this and made already some pre-tests on this, which has been very successfully accepted already from one of the very, very large companies worldwide as a secondary source. In Europe, it's very interesting, because if you make a product out of a recycled product, you can get tax benefits out there, so it's an additional bonus on it. And you have a very cheap raw material source on top of it. So these are the next 3 steps which we're trying to achieve with that. So in-house applications, as I said, typically either printed, non-printed, clean, whatever form it is. The product is, for us, it's very important that we keep the same mechanical properties, optical properties there in it. We're trying, let's say, to improve the properties even during the process there as well there in it. So the idea from our machine is relatively simple. As I said, we are the necessary evil for your industry. So we are not really, let's say, your core competence. We are just, let's say, somewhere standing in the corner inside and have to do our job. So by having this, we have to make the machine, I would call it, more dummy-proof. Because you're going to not put one of your best engineers there and run the recycling machine. You have one of the guys down there which is not the most clever one. So we have to build the machine even more clever. To make it more clever and more simple is, first of all, discontinuous feeding. So that the guy which feeds the machine can go away and nothing happens. So we call it discontinuous feeding. He doesn't need to think about when, how much, and in which form he puts something onto the machine. As long as the machine has something, we're perfectly fine. For some of the application, people have it in bales pressed or have it, let's say, you cannot uncut it anymore because, let's say, you have already, let's say, there's a blockage on the film or whatever. Then we would have the possibility to drop this as it is inside without any kind of pre-size reduction. Highest material quality means short LOD ratios, maintaining a short heat history on it, no oxidation during the melting process inside, and so on. Very good energy consumption. I was talking to a colleague from mine in Norway, and I was very shocked because their energy cost is pretty much nothing. They're talking about 0.03 euro cents per kilowatt hours. Everybody would like to have that, or? Compared with us here, we have 12 or 14 cents or something like that, you know, and you know that's 30% of the production cost beside machine labor is in energy. Yeah? That would be very nice. Lowest operator attention, as I said, I was doing on the presentation of one of our machines in Orlando. We made a game with the customers. We say, look, you're going to get a 30-second training on our machine, and if you're unable to perform after the 30-second training to start up the machine, you're going to get 5% discount extra. Of course, everybody was interested and tried it. You know? I'm very happy I didn't have to give 5% discounts to the people, because it's really the people was just going over there, pressed one button, and that's just the whole thing. And you know, when you make it so easy, it's like we're having an iPad or an iPhone out of it. You know, it's very intuitive, the whole thing, and it's just doing the right thing. Fast material changings, very important for you because you're not running day in and day out the whole thing. As you know, typically in the industry, for film industry, short runs are going to increase, long runs are going to decrease their inside. So we're having more different materials coming to the machines as well. So just in general, this is what we have done. The machine itself is a combination of a single shaft shredder with an extruder. Some small features about it: we have double ram system, we get more capacity coming off of it, and so on. We have a conical intersection to squeeze the oxygen backwards out of it, so we have, let's say, no oxidation during the melting phase during it. It's a superior product. We are typically, I say, 10 to 20% higher capacity than the competition. We're doing 10 to 15% less energy than the competition, 30% less cooling requirements, and so on. So we are really focusing on it. We are technical and technological driven organization for us, and it's very important that we're going to give the best possible technology for our customers, because you're competing internationally. Your customers are like the Procter & Gamble's, the Kimberly-Clark's, the Nestle's, the Kraft Foods, or whatever. They have a global standard, and you have to fulfill this. And we help you to maintain with this standard and still have some money left at the pocket at the end of the day. For more information, I would be pleased to invite you to come to see us at the Plastirasia. We have then both stands together, side by side. And many thanks for your kind attention. Appreciate it. Thank you.